What's going on, guys? We back again with another video. Choo choo.
Zaza.
And word of the day, slavery. As always. Isn't the word of the day always slavery?
If black.
Especially if you black. So, little pretext. Dom Lucre went on to InfoWars. I had seen this clip flying around, but I hadn't actually watched it. It was her beautiful idea to watch it, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" so we gonna watch it first, then we gonna unpack it. All right.
Yeah.
You got the headphones.
Well, it makes sense. You know, the first slave owner and the word slave itself, it derives from Slavic. That's not black people. Slavic people aren't black. The word slave came from Slavic. And in America, a lot of black owners had slaves. The first slave owner was a black man, Anthony B.A. Johnson, I'm sorry. Anthony Johnson, he was the first black slave owner in America. And the first slave owner because he had 3 indentured servants.
Wait.
2 of them were white and one of
He said the first black one and the first slave owner?
So he was the first
ever slave owner too?
Slave owners.
But he was a slave. Wait a minute.
Oh, okay. This is crazy.
was black, and he argued with Congress since the black man owed a debt that he made up, that he still had the right to own them. And they approved it. That was the start of slavery in America through a black man. And white slaves were cheaper than black. So,
but it's still not legitimizing slavery. It's wrong. The point is, you know the history.
Yeah, I know the history, and it's simply.
I mean, most Roman slaves were not African.
Right, because it's like, okay, what is your point in saying that black people were like the first slave owner? Like, you proud of that?
Yeah. But see, the thing is, this is cool to a pro-black that hate white people, right? You know, it's a cool talking point,
right?
You know, it works on them. Well, it really don't work on them. They just call your names and kind of reject it. But like in this instance, what's the point? I'm pretty sure that Alex Jones is aware of this. I'm sure, but Alex Jones is so far removed from this whole slavery stuff, he probably don't even care.
They were German.
Yeah, it's just business. It's no different than us having, you know, how good your 18-wheeler is compared to that, or just your farm equipment or your plow or your hose. It was just a business, and white slaves were cheaper. If you look back at the scholars back then, they were saying how white slaves couldn't even hold the dumbbells or the bales of hay or last out in the sun as much as blacks, so the blacks costed more. And it also fights the propaganda narrative that there was a massive majority of blacks being enslaved. They couldn't even.
You ought to make a documentary, because I've thought about that. Not lessening black slavery was terrible.
Yeah.
Transatlantic was terrible. But if you go back, Germany didn't, Austro-Hungarian Empire until 1860 free the slaves. Same thing in Russia. They were white slaves. They owned them.
Yes.
Anybody can type in Russia frees the serfs, which means slave. The point is that this is going on everywhere.
Yes. It's completely business, and they've just made it seem like it was an American problem. We're the first to free cattle slavery. But it was,
and I'm not giving America a pass. I'm just saying if everybody else is doing it,
yeah.
How come we're only taught about America? Why is that happening?
It's only
They're talking past each other.
Right.
They're literally talking past each other. Alex Jones is like, yeah, it's everybody. He's like, yeah, but the first black. Whoa.
It's so funny to see it, because Alex Jones is incapable of stupid analysis.
only happening because if you can get people to hate their country, they would feel like there needs a solution. Now, if it needs a solution, you're going to get that solution from the same people that told you to hate it.
Wow.
Well, communists, you know, same old, the communist tactic. So my boy Taji, another black conservative, they're rare finds out here. He said he added Dom. He said, "How can you be this wrong and the fact that you doubling down on it in threads is not only sad but just delusional. Get out of the way. You're making the smart people's job harder." When you go out there and spread information that's not true, you do actually make other people's jobs harder. You like for example, in our last video, people posing as quote unquote conservatives, but they're really communists. They're Democrats with red hats on. You make our job harder. You make us look discreditable. Because people like you exist. Just like when you get pulled over by the cops, you're getting discriminated against because the person that robbed the bank down the street would look like you because he was black. Like it's proxy. It is what it is, right? So we're gonna watch his video because he broke it down pretty clearly, because we definitely had questions. Listening, if you know the history, when you listen to that video, you should be like, whoa, flags and alarms should have been going off in your head when you heard the video. But we gonna let him explain it because he broke it down so beautifully.
Dom. Now this claim that Johnson was the first slave owner in America and argue with Congress about keeping the slaves is just plain goofy, my brother. Now I know it's the stereotype that Negroes can't read, but just like you, Dom, I'm a narrative breaker. In chapter 6 of a book entitled In Human Bondage, The Rise and Fall of Slavery in the New World, it states that in Virginia, there were several examples of blacks buying their freedom through work and labor and then buying slaves or servants, both black and white. Now, in the same chapter, it specifically mentions Anthony Johnson, and I quote, "Other black slaves, such as Anthony Johnson, bought their freedom, acquired sizable estates of land, conducted business with white planters and merchants, and even purchased their own slaves and white servants." Now tell me, Dom, how the fuck could a slave who bought his freedom from his slave master and then bought his own slaves and servants be the first slave owner? In order for me to purchase slaves or servants,
It doesn't make
don't
sense.
I have to buy slaves or servants from a seller, Dom? You can't really be serious with this fucking nonsense, bruh. And then the legal dispute that you're referring to that Johnson was involved in on whether or not he could own slaves happened in 1658. The United States didn't have Congress until we had a Constitution, which was in 1789. That's literally 29 years after the fucking fact, okay? What Congress was he arguing with
Oh my goodness.
in 1658? Get it
There
together,
wasn't
Dom.
any.
You're not making any sense.
It was just folks that had land, and it is what it was. That is funny. That is funny.
Can't not facts.
It's facts.
and this
It's
what
all
last,
facts.
he in law schools. He not playing.
It's all facts. All facts, guys. Like, if you look up Anthony Johnson, he was brought to America on the James in 1621 and sold to an Englishman in the colonial settlement of Jamestown. He came to America as a slave. So how is he the first slave owner? Right? How?
he worked on the plantation for the Bennetts, a wealthy white family. Oh.
And he bought his freedom. And then he went and made somebody else a lifetime slave. My God. And Dom just pretty much just rolled over that, and it's just like, what was his point of bringing it up? And then you bring it up and you getting it wrong. And then apparently he's saying he doubling down on it in a thread. So you know that you wrong. And he's like, I'm gonna stand on that. It's like, bro, he literally said, how did he petition? How did he argue with Congress when Congress didn't exist? It didn't exist. So it was just people doing what they wanted to do. It's more so like, this is my land. I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. You can't tell me what to do. I don't want no big government telling me what to do. That's what it was. You die for walking on somebody's property. Those were the times, right? Before government. So that whole video is just like little bits and pieces of truth, and it sounds cool to the average person.
Yep.
You know, it sounds cool, but when you know the truth and you have discernment, you hear it, and like, again, red flags or alarms should be going off. You should be like, wait, that doesn't make sense. Well, if you look at the dates that he said, it doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense.
Crazy.
Literally doesn't make sense. And yeah, and this, again, this is all researchable, you know. Maryland, msa.maryland.gov, official government, you know, website.
The sources right there.
Sources right here. It's not hidden. It's not hidden. So, you know, my boy Taji, he didn't play with him. And why would you? Let's listen to it again.
Dom. Now this claim that Johnson was the first slave owner in America and argue with Congress about keeping his slaves is just plain goofy, my brother. Now I know it's the stereotype that Negroes
Congress,
read, but just like you, Dom, I'm a narrative breaker. In chapter 6 of a book entitled In Human Bondage, The Rise and Fall of Slavery in the New World, it states that in Virginia, there were several examples of blacks buying their freedom through work and labor and then buying slaves or servants, both black and white. Now,
you know, when he break it down like that, it really puts into perspective. It seems like Dom was just bringing it up to be like, yeah, blacks were the first. That's ultimately what it came down to. It seems like it's just a black man was the first. It's almost not like I'm condemning it, because that's what Alex Jones is like. Alex Jones is getting the same vibe. He's like, I'm not saying slavery is good. We're condemning all slavery, right? Yeah, but the first black man, like, whoa, all slavery's bad. Yeah, but black. It's like, no.
Let alone they have slaves in Africa
today, and been had them. But the first black in America, first black slave owner, the first slave owner that came into the country as a slave. Okay, somebody skimmed through the article.
In the same chapter, it specifically mentions Anthony Johnson, and I quote: "Other black slaves, such as Anthony Johnson, bought their freedom, acquired sizable estates of land, conducted business with white planters and merchants, and even purchased their own slaves and white servants."
See, that's like the whole racism argument. I can't help but to notice it. If they was really that racist towards black people because they were black, how the hell was he conducting business with white plantation owners to trade black and white slaves? So that just flips the whole narrative on his head. You got a black man that owns white slaves talking to another white man that owns other white slaves. How the hell is it a racist? How the hell is slavery racist?
Explain that. This for the pro-blacks. Y'all love talking about what the white man did, but Anthony Johnson was buying black people.
He came into America a slave and got his money up, bought his freedom, and bought a nigga.
Sell a nigga.
Amazing.
Now tell me, Dom, how the fuck could a slave who bought his freedom from his slave master and then bought his own slaves and servants be the first slave owner? In order for me to purchase slaves or servants, don't I have to buy slaves or servants from a seller, Dom? You can't really be serious with this fucking nonsense, bruh. And then the legal dispute that you referred to that Johnson was involved in on whether or not he could own slaves happened in 1658. The United States didn't have Congress until we had a Constitution, which was in 1789. That's literally 29 years after the fucking fact, okay? What Congress was he arguing with in 1658?
And I feel his anger, bro, because it's like people like this get the biggest platform. He's on Alex Jones' show, capping, straight cap. Blacks for Trump, get on the news and cap. They just get a platform and just lie, bro. It's genuinely frustrating. But then you gotta rationalize this world is evil. This world is wicked. So if the world loves it, it's wrong. Yeah. It's wrong. And that's the way you rationalize it, because if you up there getting all this love and publicity, whatever you're doing is wrong. 9 times out of 10. So I understand why he mad, because it's like, bro, you're on Alex Jones' show. Of all the things you could have talked about,
why did this even come up?
Why did this even come up? Why are you bringing up stuff and misrepresenting it? Why don't you have all the facts and you're speaking so confidently on it? Why don't you hear Alex Jones telling you to stop talking about it? Why aren't you catching the social cues because you caught up in your black pride? How? I thought you were conservative. I didn't know that conservatives did this. I'm not getting that from the white conservatives, but somehow, some way, I'm seeing that the black conservatives are still all up into their blackness. And this man just went on Alex Jones' show and just made a fool of himself, respectfully. And I gotta say, when we met him, he brought up the whole, we're the chosen people of the Bible. We're basically, we're better than everybody else. Same old stuff. We're supreme. We're the first and the last. Yeah. We talk about the Jews believing that, but the blacks believe that too. The blacks believe they better than everybody. Or they think that we're the blood of Christ. Stuff like that. It's like, it's all the same stuff. It's all just pride and ego. It's of the devil. It's of the, we're all dirt under God. It doesn't matter. If God wanted to, he could step on all of us. It doesn't matter. It literally does. It doesn't matter who was first. It doesn't matter who was last. It doesn't matter who's rich or poor. But nah, it does matter if the first slave owner was black.
Right.
Which he wasn't. Jesus Christ. Yeah. But this is a short video, guys. Just wanted to touch on this one because this one was funny. It's boy. This is something. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Going over to her page as well. Locked in with Zaza. Great content. We catch you guys in the next video. Peace.